anime you've seen.
Hi, I'm the Reminisce Reviewer, and welcome to night 3 of our Halloween special. And today, or tonight, we are looking at an anime Marvel movie
Called Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned, which is supposedly a prequel to the Blade franchise.
Right. Well, let's take a look into the movie, shall we?
So, after Dracula takes a bite, stereotypical homeless man tries to explain everything, but can't because he's too drunk.
I can explain it. He was saying that the girl was bitten by a monster, most likely a vampire, and we all know it was Dracula. Check the title. Blah, blah, blah.
He does not say blah blah blah.
I don't say blah blah blah.
Okay, let's not start a fight here.
After the Dracula attacks, a guy named Frank Drake gets a call, and the next thing we know, he's at the park. And we cut straight to the part where he meets the woman and the guy on a wheelchair, who the endless dubs Papa Smurf. And he tells us this clip of Dracula, descendants and stuff.
And I know you are a direct descendant of Count Dracula of Transylvania. Your ancestor was Dracula's first son, born before the Count became a vampire, so you were spared that evil curse.
Spared, was I? I still have to carry the name of that evil monster, Dracula.
You changed your freaking name? You're not necessarily living with the actual curse like your ancestors here.
Hang on. If you're Dracula's descendant, where are the other family members?
Well, isn't born yet, and if we're going by the Van Helsing route, they need Frankenstein's monster to bring them to life. Now, I think we should just move on and find out more. And when given the offer to join him, Frank refuses. But the old man will have none of that, so he tries to kill Frank for refusing.
Big mistake. If you see a man in a wheelchair carrying a walking cane, turn around and walk the other way.
Wouldn't he do the same thing if he hadn't met him?
The woman would have kicked the shit out of him.
Indeed. You know, instead of pushing the wheelchair. But then Frank Highfly kicks the sword, when it should be impaling his foot, then wraps his arm around the old man's neck. Turns out Frank is a martial artist.
Okay. Where did that come from? MacGuffin?
Really? The MacGuffin?
Well, how would you explain it?
Plot convenience.
We then get a tour of the Van Helsing exhibit and a history lesson and details about our mystery man and woman. And still Frank refuses.
Then this happens.
How about tossing her in as a bonus?
Oh!
Ow! Hey! Oh! What are you... Ow!
After that fiasco, we are introduced to the family dog, Elijah. It is said he drank the holy water and was raised at a church.
I wonder if he unholied the holy water.
Speaking of which, I need a drink.
Same here.
Meanwhile, the cult is still wondering why their offering hasn't been accepted.
And they still don't know that it's Dracula. Real smart.
However, finally we get to see Satan, and flat out tells them the situation.
Like I said, real smart.
These cult guys are really dumb. They confuse a pentagram with the Star of David. Congratulations, you're all Jewish now. This and, that and the fact that they couldn't tell the difference between a cliche vampire to a cliche red goat man. This is the guy you're worshipping, right?
All I can say is, oy vey.
Christmas arrives, and two things happen. Janice is born, and the vampire hunters are closing in while noticing a pattern.
After that, backstory to Dracula, and a history lesson of half-truths.
Then we see Dracula and wife being invited to a satanic baptization, where we find out they are hypocrites for using the cross right side up and killing the child. Then the shit hits the fan. The hunters arrive and Frank goes kung fu on Dracula's ass.
After Dracula yells at the sky, we cut to New York City, where a guy picks up a chick, and while they are canoodling, they hear about the vampire killer, and while the guy scares the girl by claiming he's the vampire killer, surprise, she's the vampire. What a twist! Take notes, Shyamalan.
After the vampire hunters meeting, they decide to visit Dolores, and find out that the son has resurrected to kill Dracula, in the form of the superhero, Angel Man the Redeemer.
What? Well, it's the only way I can put it.
What about Super Angel Man, or the Redeemer, or the Golden Angel?
Well, after a conflict with Janus,
Janus.
then Satan, this happens.
My image is reflected in the mirror.
Also, Dracula wanders off, mugs a guy, and gets a hamburger?
Then we see the vampire hunters seeing Dracula eat the hamburger?
Right. How long did it take for the hunters to get to New York, and how did they do it? Star Trek?
So, after a stop for fast food, Dracula finds a way to become a vampire again. Why? Couldn't he just, be with his wife and kid?
Plot convenience? And after that fails, he flies back to Transylvania, where a fight against a new master of vampires ensues. And does he win? Obviously.
Let's just say he got crossed out. Afterwards, he heads to the castle, and he's a vampire again.
Then Harker shows up and can walk again?
It's a miracle!
He then stabs Dracula and blows himself and Dracula up while in the castle. Cue the Castlevania ending.
The end. So, verdict? What was Marvel thinking? This is the most boring and dumb rendition of the legend. And what's worse, no Stan Lee.
A very infamous movie indeed. And strangely enough, I can imagine this being a live-action movie, with all the dumb stuff in it. And maybe Stan Lee would show up. Somewhere. Also, they seem to put a lot of stuff all in one. Final verdict?
It sucks.
Should we blow it up?
Hang on. Wait here.
Again, plot convenience. I'm the Reminisce Reviewer, and that was night 3 of our Halloween special.
I'm the Animationist. May this unholy relic of Marvel never rise again.
3 down, only 10 to go.
Oh, shit.